Wow.
It's good.
We can be good to go.
Call the BZA meeting to order.
All right, Mr. Trevs,
Here.
Mr. Pax. Here. Ms. Ross.
Here.
Ms. Neff.
Here.
And Ms. Sundar.
Here. Could you able to hear me? The mic, okay? So
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Just making sure.
Anyone who intends to testify, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say, I do.
I do.
And when it's your turn to offer testimony, please state your full name, your address, and affirm that you've been sworn in.
All right, well, we have a couple items of new business, but before that, tonight we have one item of old business. You remember from last month, our case involving 3 directional sign requests for BJ's site. 2 of those locations were approved as presented, a third was continued, so we're talking about the continued location tonight. And to remind you, that's at the Orange Center Drive driveway entrance for the site. So I'm going to go through with the staff report next. There'll be a bit of a refresher for all of you. The applicant is requesting a total of 2 variances from the Orange Township Zoning Resolution Section 22 for 1 proposed directional sign to be taller than the allowed 3 feet and to be larger than the allowed 3 square feet. The sign is proposed to be a 5-foot tall and 6.5 square feet in size, so a variance for both the size and the height is needed for this sign. The sign will be located outside of the right-of-way of Orange Center Drive. Subject site is located at 8425 Orange Center Drive, which is a 24.4 acre lot located on the east side of US 23 and west of Highfield Drive. 4 variances were granted at the previous BZA meeting for 2 directional signs to be 6 feet tall and 15 square feet in size. The sign request tonight is a revised proposal for sign D1 from last month. Access to the parking area is served from Orange Center Drive along the northwest boundary of the parcel. Between the adjacent multifamily zone parcels to the north is presently open area where several multifamily apartment buildings and a clubhouse are planned. So looking around the area, we have the zoning district to the north as multifamily planned residential district. The land use is open space, multifamily residences. To the south, planned commercial and office district zoning, and the land use is the North Point Plaza Shopping Center. To the east, the zoning is planned commercial and office district, and land use is commercial building, which is the chiller. And to the west, the zoning is planned commercial and office, with the land use being US 23, as well as some other commercial uses. And there, as you may all be familiar, is the context that we talked about, the site showing the store outline. And if you go to the zoomed in view, you can see at least where the store is located. In between the store location and the US 23 is the parking area, which is accessed by that drive aisle that you'll see in the subsequent site plan, the location of the proposed sign next to the drive aisle. All right, for the staff review portion, it's from section 22.03, vehicular signs, directional or other incidental signs pertaining to the vehicular or pedestrian control on the private property shall be permitted, provided the said signs are located outside of the right-of-way of any public street or road. Yes, this sign will be outside of the public right-of-way. Number 2, do not interfere or obstruct visibility when entering or leaving said property. The sign is not expected to obstruct the visibility. Number 3, they do not exceed 3 square feet of area per side. The sign is proposed to be 15, let's see. Yeah, I believe it's
In the report, it says 15 square feet. I think- 6.5.
6.5, that's correct.
So
So,
just jumping ahead, I see that it also says the sign will be 6 feet in the next line, but the sign will be 5 feet. So
you can cross that. And so 6.5 and 5 feet respectively. And those are your two variances. Number 5, the display. These, you can see 4 different standards: the name and address of business establishment, words enter, exit, the text or arrows indicating direction or purpose of travel, and then any logo, trademark of the business establishment. The sign does meet this standard. Number 6 has no more than 2 sides. This sign will only have 2 sides. Number 7 are not lighted or no internal illumination, and the sign will not be illuminated. All right, so just going over section 22.A3 in particular, that number 3 item that we just referred to, the vehicular sign is proposed to be 6.5 square feet in size versus the allowed 3 square feet. And this is a total variance of 150% if you're doing that math. All right. And finally, here's the site plan. The D1 location is where we're talking about on the north side of the site. There's the intersection proximate to there. That's Exhibit 1 in your packet. The site plan shows the other 3 signs. So D2 and D3 were approved last month, while this is the revision for D1. Next exhibit 2 is the sign details. So this gives you a comparison of what you had seen last month, and then the revised sign at slightly smaller overall, 1 foot less in height, and the sign square footage changed from 15 to 6.5 square feet. All right, and then as I mentioned, the vehicular sign is proposed 5 feet in height and the allowed is 3 feet. This would represent a 66% variance request. That's all I have. Then there's your board analysis following.
I want to jump in real quick. I must have been a little sleepy when I made this report.
You're fine.
I believe that the square footage variance percent is not 150%, but is 116%. I believe is the correct number.
How do you do that calculation?
So I take the amount that the proposal exceeds the standard. So in this case, the proposed is 6.5 and the standard is 3 square feet. So it exceeds 3.5 square feet, and 3.5 square feet divided by 3 is about 116%. So.
Thank you.
And I think we're clear that the 66%
Is correct.
is correct.
Yes.
Don't have anything further. You want to ask the applicant? They can come up.
Anyone want to speak for this?
Oh,
Is applicant?
if we don't have the applicant here, we could move on to public comment. I guess we don't have the applicant with us. Okay.
I didn't.
I thought you were him. I could only see the head. If I could just see hair.
Would you like to move on to the comment?
Yes.
You can sworn in.
Okay, I'm Maureen G. Lovell, 234 Cemetery Way, Lewis Center. And yes, I have been sworn in. We and our neighbors are opposed to a sign at the entrance to BJ's on Orange Center Parkway. And if a sign is approved, we ask that it be no larger than your current code allows. So far, BJ's has received in the neighborhood of 12 variances. Nothing has changed for them since they decided to build on that property, yet they continue to ask for variances. They knew when they decided to build what the setback would be from Route 23. They knew that Walmart would not allow them access from the Walmart Center, and they knew that the egress and ingress into the property was not ideal. And so now they want more variances. For us, the neighbors to the north, we have experienced much change, increased traffic, including semis, more noise, and more trash. We've lost our peace, our privacy, and our security. Plus, we have BJs in big red channel letters coming through into our homes. We can easily see the proposed sign from the entrance, for the entrance from our back and some of our front yards. We ask you to veto the sign for the entrance at the Orange Center Parkway, or at least keep within your code. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Make a motion.
Are there any questions?
I don't know. That's why I phrased it.
Oh,
It's all right.
Well, I will say I'm glad to see that the applicant drastically reduced the size of their sign, and I appreciate that effort per the previous meeting. One thing that of concern on this, the signage in directing customers to, of the turn to the right to get to 23 to the signal is an important sign because of the nature of the right turn only onto 23 if they happen to turn left instead of following that direction on the sign that they would be getting when leaving the parking lot. So that does have some import to me as far as traffic control and just a courtesy to customers, even people coming for the gas station. However, that is relevant, and I think more than just turn here so much as that is a important sign for wayfinding and traffic. When I think of trying to get that critical and helpful information on a 3 square foot sign, well, 3 square feet is about 18 by 8. I mean, that's a or not even a realty sign in front of a house, basically. Okay, and that's asking a bit, and I understand it's our current code, but that is quite limiting from a standpoint on visibility of lettering for a driver to be able to discern and read it. So I do understand they have a big BJ's logo next to it, though, that could be theoretically reduced also in that sense. So I'm only voicing concern of acknowledging the effort of great reduction, but also the challenge of the scale and the size of that sign with the lettering. So I'm wondering also from the standpoint of our perspective, if the 3 foot height for the bottom of the sign was there for drivers to be able to see it from their cars, if that's an issue and why it has to be so high. I wasn't sure on that. I wish the applicant were here that we were able to ask that question, but that is one concern I have. I mean, we're talking at the top of this right here at 36 inches to that height. So, I mean, why not even down to 30 inches, even if we're trying to reduce it down, and if that addresses the residents' concerns a bit, that the sign isn't quite so far up and so visually obtrusive. But I only say that I'm trying to understand why it has to be at 36 inches.
Yeah, so I understand the signs that we approved at the last meeting are quite small, and you're going pretty fast on 23. But I'm not sure if I'm allowed to weigh in. From my experience, I've seen this sign that's here right now. It is perfectly sufficient when you're going down that little road. You shouldn't be going very fast. It's very easy to see. It's very easy to see turning, as is the one they have right now that's
That is correct. I even
Perfectly.
noticed after our
Yeah.
meeting, I just checked if it's visible. It is very much visible. I don't think this is necessary.
I was honestly kind of surprised. I thought after I saw it, I'm like, oh, they'll withdraw that because it seems perfectly sufficient. It was the other two that needed to be bigger.
I think that's a very good point you bring up about the speed and the traffic that's there. Also, the fact that is mainly customers using that. I don't know, but at least on that side, that is a customer. This is a club, so people going in and out. It's not like they're drawing attention for that sense. You know where they're at, and that's
You've already seen the sign to make a right here, so you know you're looking for, and the sign is very obvious.
It's a good point.
And there are multiple drives to choose from. There's one.
I think in retrospect from what you're saying there, also tell them to take off the BJ's logo. If the main intention is direction, they could do half of that sign and still convey the import for the drivers to know they have to turn right to get to 23 South. So that's legit also, I think, as far as a legitimate and reasonable request.
I have a question for you, ma'am. Please come back up. In your statement, did you want a sign there at all?
Preferably, we're happy with that little sign that's there now.
Okay.
But, I mean, if you're going to do anything, then at least not larger than what the code allows.
That's what I wanted to confirm before we went on to discuss something else. So thank you.
Thank you.
Do you guys want to discuss further?
I'm good. I'm good.
Based on the factors we've discussed in the meeting, I move to deny case number BA 24-11 for the property located at 8425 Orange Center Drive, Lewis Center, Ohio 43035, seeking an area variance from the Orange Township zoning resolution section 22.03 to allow for the vehicular sign identified in this report as D1 to be 6½ square feet in an area zoned planned commercial and office district.
I second.
Motion made to deny by Ms. Neff, seconded by Ms. Sundar. Those voting? Mr. Treves?
Yes.
Mr. Pax?
Yes.
Ms. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Neff?
Yes.
And Ms. Sundar?
Yes.
Motion fails, so the variance is denied.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
There are two.
Yeah, we have to make.
To do one for the height. Yeah.
Okay, you're right. So we have one more because we've just done the overall size. Now we're going to do the height. Thank you. Yep.
I move to deny case number BA 24-11 for the property located at 8425 Orange Center Drive, Lewis Center, Ohio 43035, seeking an area variance from the Orange Township zoning resolution section 22.03 to allow for the vehicular sign identified in this report as D1 to be 5 feet in height in an area zone planned commercial and office district, because we feel like the approved height is sufficient for this area.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion made again to deny by Ms. Neff, seconded by Mr. Treves. Those voting? We'll start with Mr. Pax,
Yes.
Mr. Treves,
Yes.
Ms. Ross,
Yes.
Ms. Neff, and Ms. Sundar.
Yes.
All right, and that variance is also denied. That's
You're
all.
welcome to stay, but you don't have to.
That's okay. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to keep moving things along, and I've meant to mention this on the outset here, but I'm trying to lead by example, speaking into my mic, just to ensure that, no, I think you all are on the right track, but just as that courtesy reminder for the audio quality, so thank you. All right, now we're on to new business, and the first item of the new business is going to be variance case VA 24-12, and that is going to be, or that is for the property located at 1758 Pinecone Court, and I will take you through that staff report. So this is a residential application, and the applicant is requesting an area variance from rezoning case 3662 Villages of Oak Creek to allow for a deck to encroach 10 feet into the 30-foot required rear yard setback in an area zone single-family planned residential district. The site currently contains a small wooden deck and a small paver patio. The deck was approved under a zoning permit 19695 in August 2005, despite it encroaching in the setback and not receiving a variance at that time. The property owner now wishes to replace the existing 8x10 deck with a new 12 by 13 foot deck, which requires an area variance. The property is currently owned by Bruce and Christine Rothschild. And the surrounding area to the north, the zoning district is single-family plan residential district. The land use is single-family residences in Pinecone Court. To the south is also single-family plan residential, and the land use single-family residences, and that's the same zoning for the east, single-family plan residential, and they're also single-family residences, and to the west, single-family plan residential zoning and single-family residences. For more context, as you can see, there's the surrounding single-family uses and zoning, and this lot, relatively shallow based on the location of the home. You can kind of see from the aerial, although it's somewhat granular, is the deck that was referred to, as well as the small paver patio beside it. And we have some site photos coming up for you to get a much better visualization of those. You can continue, and that's in the approximate middle of Oak Creek neighborhood there. All right, staff review portion. This is again a variance request, area variance from rezoning case 3662, Villages of Oak Creek. The rear yard setback requirement in Villages of Oak Creek per the development is 30 feet. The proposed deck would encroach 10 feet 0 inches into the 30-foot rear yard setback. This represents a roughly 33% variance request from rezoning case 3662, Villages of Oak Creek. And looking at Exhibit 1, it's the as-built survey showing the measurements of the deck. That would be 20 feet 0 inches from the rear property line. And this means it encroaches the 10 feet into the 30-foot rear yard setback. The orange line on there represents the 30-foot rear yard setback for reference. All right, the site photos hopefully will give you a much clearer sense of the existing conditions versus the setback requirements. The photo is taken facing to the north, and the large cone in the background represents the 30-foot setback. So the home is essentially at the rear yard setback, and as the small cone in the black bag represents the corners of the proposed deck. So you can see how that would jut out from the back of the home. The photo here, the second photo, is taken facing the southwest, and the cone in the black bag, like in the above photo, represent the corner of the proposed deck. The property line lies behind, just a little behind that fence. All right. And I think that is what we had for this. And you just have your criteria for consideration. So does the board have any questions?
Yeah, the delta between where the deck is now and what they want to build is, I've lost it. Where's the new deck? What size?
The new deck would be a 12 by 13 feet. That includes a little couple stairs within there.
Yeah.
The existing deck is measured at 8 feet by 10 feet.
And it's the 8 feet that is in the line, coming out of the house, or the 10 feet is coming out?
I think that it was, you might need to clarify.
Okay.
Yeah, the applicant says that 8 feet.
So it's 4 inches.
So 4 additional. So that's
Correct. Well, let's double check that.
at the
12 feet out, so yes, correct.
point.
Yep. And you can defer to the applicant's presentation for anything else.
Someone like to come up and speak with us?
Hello, I'm one of the owners, Christine Rothschild. I live at 1758 Pinecone Court, and I have been sworn in. I just want to say we only want what our idea is, because right now where the deck is, we have stairs as soon as you walk out of the house. We want to eliminate those because we find those to be unsafe for us. My husband walks with a cane, and we want to bring the deck up to the door level. But if we kept it at the 8 by 10, as soon as you walk, and we're going to put a railing around it, and as soon as you walk out of the door, you're almost right into the railing. So we wanted to extend it out a couple feet each way to give us a little space there.
Okay.
Okay.
Questions?
Any have any questions?
And then you'll have steps onto the
We'll have steps that'll go
other
down to
patio
the stone that
Okay.
stone area, yeah. Yeah, one of them is going to be inset into the deck, so we'll really only have 2 steps.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay? That's all I have to say.
Do we have the HOA approval for this?
I'm sorry?
The HOA approval for
Yes,
this?
the HOA gave,
I don't see the copy here.
oh, I didn't bring the copy of the HOA. I can send it to you. Yes, the HOA approved it before, actually, they approved it before we did this. We got their approval first.
And just to clarify, it hasn't changed. It's not a requirement for zoning to have that HOA approval, but I understand it's still a relevant question. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I'm sorry, I didn't bring the HOA. I have it, the letter, but
Just making sure, because they may come back.
no, they said, just let us know if anything changes. And so, okay.
State your name.
That's trying to protect you.
Bruce Rothschild, 1758 Pinecone Court, and I've been sworn in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. I would add, it was my perspective that the area we're looking for is about a foot deeper than the current,
Deck goes.
with the current deck. Because when we're measuring it, we're looking at the deck, and that foot seemed to make a big difference, so, but the deck as it is now is unsafe.
And another thing I did want to say is when we bought the property, no one ever mentioned a 30-foot setback, and it wasn't on the mortgage survey.
It's in all the.
Yeah,
found out
in retrospect, when we applied for this, we found out that was there. We knew about the easement, but we didn't know anything about the setback, so that's,
And we were very, picking in the width, or depth, I should say, we did it mindful of the easement, of what we knew about the easement, that's all we knew
didn't know
about. So appreciate you resolving this problem for us.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions?
I'm prepared to make. I'm prepared to make a motion. Yeah. I'm prepared to make a motion. Based on the factors outlined by Mr. Gatsky, as well as testimony from the residents, I vote to approve case number VA-24-13 for property located at 1345 Scarlett Avenue, Lewis Center, Ohio, seeking an area variance from rezoning case number 12451, Estates of Glen Oak, to allow for a deck to encroach 11 feet and 6 inches into the 35-foot rear yard setback in an area zone single-family residential district.
You're on the road.
Thank you. On the wrong one. Ah, goodness sake. That sounded so good. Let's try that again, shall we?
Okay.
I'm still going to vote for approval. Yeah. Congratulations. That's the quickest. All right. Sorry. Let's try that again for a formal record. Thank you. Based on the factors outlined by Mr. Gatsky, as well as testimony from the residents, I move to approve case number VA 2412 for property located at 1758 Pinecone Court, Lewis Center, Ohio, seeking an area variance from rezoning case number 3662, Villages of Oak Creek, to allow for a deck to encroach 10 feet into the 30-foot rear yard setback in an area zone single-family residential district.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Pax, seconded by Ms. Ross. Those voting, Mr. Trevs,
Yes.
Mr. Pax,
Yes.
Ms. Ross,
Yes.
Ms. Neff,
Yes.
and Ms. Sundar.
Yes.
Motion carries and variance is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with your project.
All right. we will move right along to the second of the new business items. And the second and final, that would be for the location at 1345 Scarlett Avenue. This request is also a residential request, and the applicant is requesting an area variance from rezoning case 12451 Estates of Glen Oak to allow for a deck to encroach 11 feet 6 inches into the 35-foot rear yard setback in an area zone single-family planned residential district. The proposed deck would be 16 feet by 16 feet, and the property is located on Scarlett Avenue, and it's currently owned. I'm going to mess his name up, so I will I apologize. The owners, as I understand, are here tonight. Yep. The surrounding area, it is fairly straightforward. Their zoning surrounding in all four directions is single-family planned residential district. The land uses are single-family residences, and Scarlett Avenue is located to the south. Your aerial views here showing the location of both the property and the home being situated relatively in the middle of the site. That is a 35-foot rear yard setback, as I had mentioned. Let's move along, a little zoomed out view. And then for the staff review portion, that rear yard setback area variance request from rezoning case 12451 Estates of Glen Oak. That rear yard setback requirement is 35 feet, and the proposed deck would encroach 11 feet 6 inches into the 35-foot rear yard setback, and this is around a 33% variance request from rezoning 12451 Estates of Glen Oak. And here's Exhibit 1 for your plot plan view showing these measurements show the deck would be 23 feet 6 inches from the rear property line, encroaching 11 feet 6 inches into that 35-foot rear yard setback. The orange line here on the drawing, that represents the 35-foot rear yard setback line. So, just like the last case, we have a few site photos for you to visualize the site better. This photo was taken facing to the southeast, and that large cone represents the rear property line. The smaller cone represents the edge of the proposed deck, and then the black bag represents the 35-foot rear yard setback. So you can see it's a fairly small area between really the rear edge of the house and where that rear yard setback line is. This is facing the opposite direction, the large cone representing the property line, the small cone representing the edge of the proposed deck, and then the black bag to the left of the photo represents the 35-foot rear yard setback. And that would be it. The criteria for approval or consideration is on the following pages.
Could we please see on the map where the neighbors are that sent, there were 3 neighbors sending letters, please?
Yes, I am actually not sure, but we can figure it out.
Oh, okay.
No, I should have been,
Just curious.
should have been prepared for that. That would be
1323,
or if the applicant also, okay, 1323.
1345. Both of those are Scarlett. I was just curious if they were like the front and back.
Okay.
1325. Oh, sorry, 1345. No, 1345 is the 1323. Then the other one. Oh, the other one's
The name.
Joe J-O.
That one doesn't say anything.
Geez.
Doesn't have an address on it.
That one is 7116 Aster, A-S-T-E-R.
7116 Astor.
Yep.
Okay, so they're right around.
And I don't know if you, did you do the third one? If not,
What was the third one?
1345, I think it's next door, Scarlet.
Thought that's,
45 is a subject property.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah.
You're missing the second one, which is from Stephanie. Yeah, Stephanie Jordry. That's the one we are missing.
Sorry about that.
I don't think so.
Don't think so.
That's okay.
And could be something the applicant could speak to.
Yeah,
But
no negatives here.
yeah. Would the applicants like to say anything?
Hi, I'm Shankar. I live in 1345 Scarlet Avenue. I tried to add,
Been sworn in? Okay.
yeah. And I tried to add some backyard outdoor space for past few years. And I tried to hire a guy to do a paved patio. But the thing is, it is very slopey area. And they tried, and one guy even took my money and went away a few years ago. Then I stopped my project, and all my kids are growing up now. And suddenly I got my colleague gave me an idea. They have a very good reputed person who can do the deck for me. I not even thought of spending another money for that, but he kind of gave a very good review. Then I went ahead with him, and he proposed this deck. And he also told that there is no way to do another paved patio. It's because of the slope. It's already, we got to step down around 5 steps now. It's going to be very hard. So actually, I'm not even using the rear door. We always go the front door and then going around. So this will be a little addition for our spending little time outside.
Question?
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
Based on the factors, I move to approve case number VA-24-13 for property located at 1345 Scarlett Avenue, Lewis Center, Ohio, seeking an area variance from rezoning case /12451, Estates of Glen Oak, to allow for a deck to encroach 11 feet and 6 inches into the 35-foot rear yard setback in the area zoned single-family residential district.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Sundar, seconded by Ms. Ross. Those voting, Mr. Trevs,
Yes.
Mr. Pax,
Yes.
Ms. Ross,
Yes.
Ms. Neff,
Yes.
and Ms. Sundar.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Good luck.
You got 2 approvals.
It's got a 30-foot setback, and this property is 35 foot, so
Some of them are 25, some of them are 30, 35.
Depends on the neighborhood.
Yes.
different.
yeah, when a new neighborhood goes in, essentially the developer decides those things, and ultimately the township officials do so. Just it's what was decided back in the day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck.
That would be it for our cases. The only item I have for you to make a motion on is the minutes that were back in March. And I've looked back, that was everybody who attended those that meeting for March. So those minutes, I know some of you had a few corrections that you had us put in, and we made sure to follow through and do that. If one of you wants to make a motion to approve those, you can go right ahead. And I will take roll call.
I move to approve the minutes of the BZA for March 21st, 2024 as corrected.
I'll second.
All right, motion made by Ms. Ross, seconded by Mr. Trevs. Those voting, we'll start with Mr. Trevs,
Yes.
Mr. Pax?
Yes.
Ms. Ross? And Ms. Neff?
Yes.
And Ms. Sundar?
Yes.
Those amended minutes are approved. So we will likely have the April minutes for you to take a look at sometime between now and the next meeting. I'll keep you posted through email. But that is all the items that I have. Did you have any question?
No.
I don't have any questions.
All in favor of adjournment?
All in
Say
favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Aye.